Hey there, planners. It is time to move into a new planner. And you guys know I have loved this B6stology. It's all fat and filled, and I'm super happy about that. But it's time for me to find a new planner to wrap up 2021. And I'm excited to introduce you to this beauty. This is a Scribbles That Matter B5 dot grid notebook in 160 GSM. I am super excited about what I'm going to be able to do in this planner, and I'm really excited to set it up today with you. So go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, so you can see I have gathered all of my supplies. I am going to be setting up this planner today for the last 3 months of the year, which includes all of the fun stuff. You know, fall season, pumpkins, holidays, Thanksgiving, travel, family coming into town, Christmas, and other end of the year holidays. And so I am so excited to be setting this up. I have a whole bunch of supplies here. I mean, just tons of supplies. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'll talk a little bit about them as I'm using them, but I will have everything listed down in the description box below. So go check that out. You can also just, if you want to find out more about my supplies, I have my Amazon storefront link down below. So you can go check that out as well, just to see in general what supplies do I absolutely love and depend on for all my planning needs. So let me get all of this out of the way and talk a little bit about this planner. So why Scribbles That Matter? Why B5 size? I mean, this is such a break from what I was doing in the B6stology and the planner cover and all of that. And I think that's exactly why. I started to think about, you know, what do I want to use for the end of the year? What are my needs? And I always start when I'm selecting a new planner, I always start with what do I need? And I try to do a mind map about, you know, what are my planning needs, and then try to fit the planner to the planning needs. And, you know, I've talked a lot about planner peace. I don't believe in it. I think that planner peace is being able to use the planner that you need for the season of life that you're in. And that comes down to really understanding what your planning needs are. I have a video that I shared last year all about mind mapping your planner needs and finding the right planner for you. I'll have that link down in the description box below. As we're headed into the end of the year and you're thinking about next year, you may start to question, you know, what planner do you want to use? This is also planner release season, which is very tempting to spend way too much money on planners. So that process may help you, so go check that out. I have always had a love for Scribbles That Matter. Their notebooks are amazing quality, the paper is amazing quality, and they've done a lot of improvements in their supply chain. It used to be really hard to get a hold of Scribbles That Matter consistently. They've made a lot of improvements there. So I went with the larger size, way bigger than what I was using. You know, this is the B5 in the cover, and you can see how much bigger this notebook is. And so I definitely have upgraded in size, but I just really felt like everything I have going on in the last 3 months of the year, I'm going to need the bigger size. You know, another reason why I really wanted to go with this notebook particularly is because I miss watercoloring, and I wanted to incorporate some watercoloring and a bit more creativity as I finish out this year. Still staying very focused on productivity, but incorporating a little bit more art and creativity, and potentially drawing out a bit more. That comes with, you know, with a planner with thicker pages, you know, not thin paper like the Stology. It does come with wanting to be very careful about bulking it up too much. And so I will be drawing a bit more and using some templates, things like that. So I am going to go ahead and start talking about how I'm going to be setting this up today. This is probably going to be a pretty long video, and you know, I'm going to try to find places to speed it up and put some music in or do some voiceovers, but I really wanted to take you along step by step. I mean, this is just, it's a blank notebook. You can see I've done some sticky notes of kind of dividing it up and counting pages, but I really wanted to take you along with me setting up this planner for the rest of the year, just starting with a blank slate. Now, I will say I have done one thing. This is a washi dashboard. I absolutely hate setting these up. They're horrible. They're painful to watch too because it's just such a mess. But basically you start with the inner cover of the planner, and you start over here in the corner with a piece of washi, and you just start laying down washi. And of course you have all these bits of washi, on the outside, and then trim that down. And I really wanted the front cover to reflect the season. So starting over here with fall and then moving into the Christmas colors and, Merry Christmas and all of that, because that's the time span that this planner will cover, 3 months, October, November, December. So I really wanted to do something like that in here, particularly because this is not going to go in a case, obviously. It's a hardcover. It's a B5 size. I'm not going to buy a case for it. So I went ahead and did the washi dashboard. There are a ton of videos here on YouTube about how to do a washi dashboard. If that's something that you're interested in, I'll try to find a couple of my favorites and link them down below. But it's not easy. It does take some patience, and I didn't want to do that on camera because that would take up so much time of the setup video. But other than that, it is blank with sticky notes. It's very blank here, so we're starting from scratch. All right, let me get some supplies together and laid out, and then we will start setting up this baby. All right, so for these first 2 pages, I wanted to do an inbox for sticky notes, and I also wanted to do a year at a glance. This year at a glance, I actually printed on sticker paper. This is from Printables and Inspirations. I have 2 videos that talk all about where I get my free printables. I will have them linked down in the description box below if you are looking for places to get free printables for your planner. But that's where this comes from. So I'm actually just going to stick this right down here. This also I printed. This background image is from Pixabay, which I get a ton of resources from. It's a great place to get copyright-free images, which I think is really important. So I pulled that off there, and I just added in a text box that said inbox on there and printed it on sticker paper so I can just peel it right off and stick it down. I'm going to put that here, and then I'm going to use some of my sticky notes. So I have a ton of sticky notes. I'm going to pull some off and put them down here to actually create a dashboard. Now the other thing I thought, and I wish you guys could give me feedback. I had these vellums, so I printed these vellums, and all of these images are off Pixabay. And I just buy vellum sheets and print off the vellum. I really kind of wanted to tip in a vellum here. I absolutely love these acorns. I think it goes well with the color of the planner. I thought about putting that there, but I can't really see through that at all. Then there is the fall leaves. I love the red fall leaves. That gives me a little bit of a view of what's back there. And then I also have these leaves, which will definitely show through the calendar, the future log. So I'm thinking maybe this one is the right one to put here to tip that in. So let me go ahead and start laying that down, and I'll speed it up just so you can see how it goes. Here's what I'll say. When you have a great big sheet like this of sticker paper, I find that you have to be really, really careful when you're laying it down. So I always remove just a tiny bit of sticker paper to begin with and get that started, and then slowly remove the sticker paper. So you want to make sure everything is lined up, because depending on what type of sticker paper you're using, it can be a bit unforgiving. This type of sticker paper, these are just shipping labels. I buy them off Amazon. Again, I'll have everything listed down in the description box below, but they are not removable, and they are not forgiving. If you get a buckle or an air pocket, or realize that you put something down crooked and you need to redo it, it is not forgiving at all. And so I have to be really, really careful about laying things down. So that came out really nicely. I like the way that came out. And that just gives me a quick at a glance for the rest of 2021. And I took 2 different year at a glances and kind of cropped and put them together to be able to use in this planner, because I do need a view of 2022, as this planner is going to last me through December. So I've got October, November, December of this year, and then the first 6 months of 2022, just as a reference. All right, let me put down the inbox and get my sticky notes in place. All right, so there I've got my sticky note dashboard ready to go. And you can see I didn't put down too many. I mean, there's just 3 or 4 of each kind because that does add a lot of thickness and bulk to the planner. So I don't want to do that yet, but I can always come back in and restock when I see they're getting low. These sticky notes are so awesome, and the different color palettes are a really good price on Amazon. And I have used them through all the seasons because they come in so many different colors. I love the check boxes that come and the lines. And then just the plain format. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, now comes getting in this vellum and tipping it in. So I can already see a couple challenges that are going to happen. Tipping in things into your planner is not the easiest. It takes a little practice and a little patience, but now I'm dealing with a much bigger spine, a much bigger piece of vellum. I'm also dealing with the front cover, so it's kind of an odd page. It's not as easy as, a middle page would be, so that's going to be a little different. So anyway, I'm going to have to kind of take my time and see how I can make this work. Now, I will say the vellum is a little bit crinkly and curly right now. That will totally work itself out as I use the planner. It'll flatten right out, so I'm not that worried about that. All right, so let me get started on this little tricky guy. And I'm using just plain Scotch tape and an old HelloFresh card. So that's what I use to tip in. And I'm starting with really small pieces. I find that to be the most handy, just to start with really small pieces of tape. All right, so that actually worked out really well. And you'll see what I did there is I just started with tiny little pieces. I started in the middle and on the back. And I always put more tape on the back of a tip-in than I do on the front of the tip-in. It just, for whatever reason, that seems to work for me. But I started in the middle, worked my way out, made sure to get right to the edge. And then same thing in the front. I just did 1 piece in the middle and 2 on the edges, and that actually works perfect. I'm really happy with the way that looks, and that is the entrance to this planner. I did have one thing I forgot I wanted to do here. So I got these self-adhesive sticky pockets off of Amazon in this great pack. This is actually one of the larger ones that I haven't really used this size because it's been too big for my A5 and my B6 size planners, but because this is a B5, it's going to work great. And I actually wanted to put it right here on the front because this, obviously I won't have a planner cover with a bunch of pockets, but I do feel like I want a pocket or two to put my super cute fall die cuts in. I've got all these really great fall die cuts, and so I wanted to have something to put some of those in, and also, just business cards or anything, cards, other things like that, coupon codes, things that I pick up. So I want to put this pocket there, and I also wanted to have just a little decor on it. And this is red vinyl. And I actually made this in the Cricut. This is found in the design space. I thought it was super cute with the apple. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be seeing more apples in my October setup, so stay tuned for that. But I'm just going to place this sticky pocket right here in the front and use that to hold some of these adorable little die cuts and other items. So I'm sure I'll put some more in it as the season gets going, but I'm gonna start just with a couple, and I probably need, I've got some sticky notes that I made. And if you are curious about how to make sticky notes, so I've got all of these. These are just plain white sticky notes that I bought off Amazon. And I used a template and printed out the the patterns and the images on them. If you're curious about how to do this, I do have a video all about how to make your own sticky notes, and so I'll have that listed down below. It is so simple and it is really fun to make your own sticky notes. So I think I might put that behind here because I've got this white and I want to have that fall vinyl show up. So just a couple of things there. I'm sure I'll keep playing with this. And I gotta have my Starbucks lady in there, particularly as it's pumpkin spice season. You know, pumpkin spice everything. How about that new apple Starbucks drink? Has anybody tried that? I have, and let me tell you, it's amazing. It's definitely giving pumpkin spice a run for its money. Okay, so that's just cute. I'll keep playing with that and doing different things with that, but this is a great idea if you have a planner that you don't actually have a cover for. Those self-adhesive pockets are really handy, and I have found that you can reuse them. So they come up pretty easy, and you might have to add some, you know, like some double-sided sticky tape on the back, but you can reuse those. All right, so first couple of pages done. Time to move on to the next section. All right, for the next couple spreads, I am going to be setting up a future log, and that's going to be actually the next 4 pages is going to be the future log. You can see I've got some watercolors out, and I'm so excited. I am really, really excited about being able to use watercolor in this planner over the next few months, because Scribbles That Matter is known for being really great paper for watercolor. So I'm going to be setting that up. Now, if you know Scribbles That Matter, you know that I skipped a couple pages. There are actually, in the B5 size notebook, there are actually 4 index pages. I am not going to be using an index. I don't think I need it for this planner. But what I am going to do with this is make a Christmas gift list tracker. I really like that this format is already in here, and I think that's going to be perfect for Christmas gift tracking. So I will be doing a video on that as we get closer to the holidays, so stay tuned for that if you need ideas about how to track all those gifts that you're buying at the end of the year. All right, so I'm going to use some watercolor. When I set up my July, August and September planner, which I'll have that video linked down below. If you remember, on the future log pages, I had these really awesome watercolor stickers, and I really enjoyed the look of that, and I thought, you know what, why use stickers when I can actually watercolor myself? So that's what I'm going to be going for, using some fall colors. I've got my watercolors. I think I might pull out the metallic watercolors that I have as well, because I think that's going to look really good in here. But I'm just going to be playing around with these pages, and I'll speed it up and pop back in when I want to talk about what I'm doing. All right, so I finished the watercolor and I've let that dry, and I absolutely love the way it looks. You can see that I faintly drew in a couple days ago just the monthly outlines. So I'm going to go ahead and draw those in, and I'm using some Pigma Micron drawing pens. These are my favorite pens for drawing things like this, and I've got a couple of the smaller sizes. I've also got some stickers that I plan on using. These are clear stickers. They're from a really old Happy Planner kit. But with the months, the monthly titles on them, I'm going to put them down and go ahead and set that up. So let me draw in these calendars. It's been a while since I drew calendars, so let me make sure I get this right. right, so I have finished these 4 pages all about the future log, and I am so happy with the way they turned out. I love the combination of the watercolors, the stickers for the month headers, and then the little drawn-in calendars. I did add drop shadows, kind of coordinating with the colors to each of the calendars. I like drop shadows. I think it makes things pop, and this gives me plenty of room to be able to write in any holidays that month, as well as future activities that I need to consider. You know, this planner begins in October, so therefore I've started the future log in November. November and December will be the only other months in this planner, but then January, February, March, April, and then anything else I'll need to keep track of for when I set up the next planner at the beginning of 2022. Can you believe it? I actually had to piece together, kind of chop up and piece together these stickers to create 2022 because I don't have any 2022 stickers yet. But anyway, I'm really happy with the way these came out. I think they go along with the theme I'm setting up for this planner. I think it matches the planner cover really well, and I love these fall colors, these metallics. I think it looks really good. All right, so next up is just a couple pages in the back of this planner. You know, after I have my future log, when I turn the page, I get right into the months. So I'm going to flip to the back and start setting up some of those pages. All right, so here in the back of the Scribbles That Matter, there is a pen loop, which is really nice, and this great pen that comes with the Scribble That Matter journals. This is a great fine liner. It's just a basic black fine liner, but it's really good. They're some of my favorite pens. And then it's got a big pocket back here. I do have the 2 bookmarks. I will probably end up cutting them out because I don't use them and they often get in my way. So I like to use clips and things like that to mark my place. But then there are 2 pen test pages. I love that these are already set up in the planner for me to use. If I flip back one more page, I'm going to be setting up one of my absolute must-have pages in all of my planners, and that is a grid spacing cheat sheet. I have done a whole video on the grid spacing cheat sheet, all the formulas that I use and how to set that up. So I'm going to leave a link to that down in the description box below in case you're interested. And I would say it's probably one of the must-have hacks in all of my planners that I set up. It makes everything else I do in the planner so much easier. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. All right, so here's my grid cheat sheet. Very simple, very easy to set up, but so handy. So obviously I count out the boxes across, and in this planner it is 1 to 32, and then I count out the boxes down 1 to 46. I also added above here the count if I was going all the way, if one started here and I was going all the way across 2 pages, it would be 33 to 64. So that tells me kind of all of the space that I have to work with. I mark the middle just because it's a quick reference for the middle. Now, Scribbles That Matter actually use these little dashes, which I don't know that you can see them, but they do have markers on the page for where the middle is. The other step that I take is I go ahead and map out how many dots would it be for the spacing that I use most frequently. So for example, over here I've done the columns. When I want to divide my page up into columns, 4 columns, 3 columns, and 7 columns, and you can understand why those would be the most popular. 4 columns is, you know, if I'm doing a monthly calendar across the whole page, I would have 4 days on one page, 3 days on the other, and some sort of extra space or notes column, something like that. So I need to know how to break up the pages individually into 4 columns. I've done that 2 ways. I've done 4 columns with no space between the columns, and then I've also done 4 columns with a space between the columns because sometimes I want that space. So, you know, 4 columns with no space would be 8 blocks. 4 columns with space would be 7 blocks, and then you can see in some cases I have to start one over, so I've marked what that looks like, or there's an extra space on the end. Same thing for 3 columns with no space. When thinking about setting up a weekly layout, either having, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, weekend, that would be 3 columns per page, or doing 4 with some extra space on the side. And then I also did 7 columns because if I'm going to put an entire monthly calendar on a single page, I would need to have 7 columns. So that's my horizontal grid sheets, and then I also have vertical grid sheets when I want to do rows across the page. And I just did 2 of these. I did 5 rows with space and then 5 rows with no space, and that's because typically monthly calendars I'm doing 5 weeks, and I have some assumed header space up here when I'm doing that. Now you can tailor this system any way you want it based on how you use your planner. And again, I would point you to that grid spacing cheat sheet video that really breaks down what's the formula for figuring out space and no space. There is a little trick, a little formula there that you can use every time. It makes it really easy to figure it out, even if you don't have a grid spacing cheat sheet. So this is this spread. I have one more spread I'm going to set up today, and that is next planner ideas. So because this planner is going to take me into the end of the year, meaning that I'm going to be setting, when I finish this planner, it'll be time to set up for a brand new year, which is really hard to believe, but I want a lot of space to be able to brain dump ideas, possibly do a mind map. So I'm going to take this whole 2-page spread and turn this into a place to really jot down all my ideas about my next plan. All right, so I kept this spread super simple. I just used some washi tape and a couple of stickers and a functional box, and titled this page My Next Planner because again, I want a lot of space to be able to draw out, map out, brain dump what it is that I want in my next planner for 2022. That completes the setup for this planner. I've got my grid spacing cheat sheet, and then I've set up the front of the planner with my washi dashboard, my pocket for all my little planner goodies. I've got my sticky dashboard in my inbox that I can keep here. I've got my year at a glance with 2021 and 2022. I've got my future log all ready to go and set up, which I am just loving this future log. I love the way it looks. And that is the setup for this new planner. I am super excited to get started with this. I can't wait to set up October. So make sure that you are subscribed to see the setup of October. I have a great theme and some really great supplies. So if you enjoyed the video, if you got inspiration from it, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to Plan and Annie for more content like this. And as always, thanks for planning with me.